Hello, and welcome to episode 21 in my continuing series on the facts about life. Today, I'm going to talk about the appetites of the flesh, of this physical form that we inhabit. It has appetites, there's no doubt about it. It is wise to recognize them and deal with them appropriately. And I want to talk about this as well today in stressing the importance of a proper moral education in our children. It's critical in their development and their pathways to happiness and success in this life. It is wise to always keep in mind that the appetites of the flesh are voracious and insistent. It's what they do. It's just a function of life in the animal world. They are restrained only by our personal will, which we strengthen with usage. Our will is always strengthened by the knowledge we gain from our experience and the understanding we derive from the collective and immemorial experience of humanity, that giant tribe of which we are all a part. That experience tells us that reason alone can never chain ego-driven appetites and animalistic desires. The wisdom our species has gained through experience teaches us that proper prejudice, tradition, customary morality, and spiritual will are the primary means for such restraint. If one is discharged of reverence for moral conventions and prescriptions, that person will treat this world as if it is their private property to be consumed for their own gratifications. In their lust for pleasure and power over others, they will abuse the human rights of others and despoil that which rightly belongs to others and to future generations. In the end, they certainly despoil and disabuse themselves. To help our children, the youth of our nation, to avoid these pitfalls into what often is a vile and evil life, it is just very important that they be instructed about morality and educated about the truths of life and the moral purposes of life in our schooling systems. Unfortunately, instructions that give our children moral guidance and encourage character development seems to be woefully lacking in our state-sponsored educational institutions these days. And state schooling no longer impresses into our nation's youth the importance of the God-given liberties that have been enshrined for us in our Declaration of Independence and Constitution. immensely expensive systems of state schooling have failed us in many ways. Their indoctrinations of our youth have been laced with left-wing ideologies. These indoctrinations, along with persuasions from the left-wing dominated media and entertainment industries, are responsible for much of the anarchy and moral degeneracy so prevalent today in both private character and public life. Marxist and atheistic social theories and their related falsehoods now dominate our academic institutions of higher learning. Truly, the professoriate is failing us in many ways too. These institutions instruct our children's teachers to scorn and hate their country. They indoctrinate the teachers of our youth with a collectivist, progressive philosophy that is rife with evil falsehoods about life. Many present-day school teachers have adopted these ridiculous ideas as their own. They have been duped into believing them to be a pathway to a more perfect society. They then persuade our children to believe these liberal idiocies too. This is both sad and dangerous. Instead of the idiotic socialist progressive proposals that dominate the Democrat socialist progressive agenda being taught to our children, we need to re-emphasize in our schools this most important moral and economic truth about life here in America. We are a nation that was founded on liberty and self-supporting individualism. The individual was paramount. We are a nation that encourages individual enterprise and rewards labor and merit their due. We are a nation of dreams where anyone who works hard, employs the social graces, is honest, and educates and trains themselves to do something useful can make a great success of their life. And with that success, they can provide for themselves and their families, bringing them just untold dignity. These are some things that America have traditionally demanded of its citizenry, that they provide for themselves and their families. Seems to me that this demand has now been replaced in progressive socialist thinking by asinine liberal theories about life that have persuaded many of our citizens to believe that society owes them their sustenance, owes them their living. We must stop this madness. We need to reform our schools so that they place love of country, citizenship, and character development at the forefront of their mission. If we are able to do this, only good and great things can happen for America in the future. Well, there's the message for today. Things to think about. things from our wisdom traditions, things that come from the truths of life experience. I hope all the best for you, as always. Goodbye for now. We'll see you again on episode 22.